My name's Chuck Armstrong. I live in Brownsville, Vermont, and I grow about 30 acres of vegetables and cover crops. My main vegetable crops are sweet corn, green beans, winter squash, and peas. And I guess today we're talking about cultivation, and I start off my season by chisel plowing, and then I follow that up with harrowing and field cultivating with a Perfecta field cultivator. All the crops I plant are pretty large seeded, and I can use a Lely weeder on those. And so after I plant, I'll use the Lely weeder before the plant comes up and also after. A good way to judge whether you need the Lely weed is to just run your hands through the soil, and if you see a lot of white thread seeds germinating, it kind of looks like a sprout salad, then you know you're ready to cultivate. When I'm using the machine on crops that haven't emerged yet, I usually dig up a short section of row to see what the crop is doing, how far along it is, whether it's how close it is to coming through the surface, and then I'll know how much pressure I want to put down on the tines. And the way I adjust the tines is by raising and lowering the whole machine. The lower you push it, the more pressure you're going to have on the tines. And as I start down the row, I'll get them all in the ground, and I'll put it down a little bit, and if I feel like I'm starting to pull some crop up, then I'll raise it a little bit, and you know, trying to keep it down hard enough that it's still pulling out the weeds. The other cultivation techniques I use are some Bezzerides weeders. I'll use the Bezzerides tools, and there's a torsion weeder that's you can get real close to the plant, and it has a springing action so that it will bend away from the plant, but it'll still kill the weeds, but it's less likely to kill the crop plant. And it has a very minimal amount of hilling, so you can do it when the crop is very small. And then there's another tool called a spring hoe that's similar action, but it gives a little bit more hilling action, so it's a little bit more aggressive, so you can come through that on the second time through. This is a toolbar cultivator. I use it on my corn, beans, and winter squash. I try to use this as soon as I can after the crop is up, and just big enough for me to get in there. These are called spiders, and they're a Bezzerides tool, and I've got them set up now so that they're taking soil away from the crop, and you can reverse it so that you can hill up the crop. And supposedly it's a little bit more or less aggressive according to which way you point these tines. They have a little bit of a curve to them. If you point them forward, they're supposed to be a little bit more aggressive. And I point them to take soil away from the crop when it's small, and so that the last tool that comes through, which is this, won't have very much soil that it pushes against the crop, and so it won't bury it. And I've got I've got one on each side of the crop, and they go just under the soil like that, and I've got them so that the distance it's about 3.5 inches apart, and you use it really similar to a shovel, but it's a little bit more forgiving because it doesn't have a sharp edge here, so it's less likely to cut your crop, and it will flex as it's in the soil. It will flex around a little bit, so you can get it a little bit closer than you probably could at a regular sharp shovel. And in between, that's what I have for the last tool, and in between I have some side knives. And that's just to, I find that if I just had the spiders and these, I was missing some spots, so I just put that in there to sort of clean it up, and it sort of also levels back out whatever kind of a hilling action that this tool makes.